You won't believe what went down behind the scenes of Let's Rap About It. What started as a heated discussion quickly escalated into one of the most shocking moments in recent hip-hop history. Jim Jones tried to jump Dame Dash and the streets. Are still talking about it? And what just when things seemed like they couldn't get any crazier? Maino stepped back from the show, leaving fans wondering what really happened. Insiders say tensions were high long before cameras even started rolling. There were heated words, stares that could cut glass, and an energy so thick you could feel it through the screen. Jim Jones, known for his fiery personality and street credibility, didn't hold back, and the situation quickly turned dangerous. Sources confirmed that his crew was involved, making it clear that this wasn't just a simple disagreement, had real-world consequences. Meanwhile, Maino, who had been set to appear on Let's Rap About It, made the surprising decision to pull out entirely. Some say it was out of caution. Others believe it was a strategic move to avoid being caught in the crossfire. Either way, fans were left shocked and scrambling to piece together exactly what went down. In this video, we'll break down every detail. Who was there? What triggered the confrontation? And why Maino's decision could change the game for future episodes. This isn't just drama for the cameras. It's a lesson in loyalty, caution, and the fine line between entertainment and real-life tension. Stay tuned, because by the end, you'll see why this is one of the most intense hip-hop show moments in recent memory. The tension was real from the very moment Jim Jones stepped into the room. What was supposed to be a standard episode of Let's Rap About It quickly escalated into something completely unexpected. This wasn't just about bars, opinions, or debates. This was about reputations, past grudges, and power dynamics. In the hip-hop world colliding in real time, Jim Jones has always carried an aura of authority. Over the years, he's built a reputation for being unfiltered, fearless, and sometimes unpredictable. Fans and insiders alike know that when Jim walks into a space, the energy shifts. That night, he brought not only his words, but also his crew, signaling that he wasn't there to play around. People around him noticed the change immediately. Conversations paused, cameras focused, and everyone felt that something big was about to happen. Meanwhile, Dame Dash, a veteran in the industry with a legacy of influence and strong connections, didn't back down. But even he admitted in later discussions that he wasn't fully prepared for the intensity of Jim's approach. The moment Jim stepped forward with a confrontational energy, the room collectively felt the gravity of what could happen next. It wasn't just about ego. It was about history, reputation, and control. Everyone present understood that even the smallest misstep could turn the night chaotic. Amid all this tension, Maino's role became central. Initially scheduled to participate fully, he suddenly found himself caught in a delicate position. On one side was Jim Jones, whose presence and unpredictability were intimidating. On the other, the integrity of the show and his own professional image were on the line. Maino quickly realized that participating under these conditions could put him in an uncomfortable or risky situation. After a few whispered conversations and tense moments, the decision was made. Maino would step back from the episode entirely. Sources say the decision was made not out of fear, but out of strategy. Maino understood the potential fallout, recognized that getting involved in a public dispute between two heavyweights in the industry could overshadow his contributions to the show. His withdrawal was a calculated move to maintain credibility while avoiding unnecessary conflict. The drama wasn't over, but Maino had effectively removed himself from the crossfire, at least publicly. As cameras rolled and the episode continued, the tension became almost palpable. Jim Jones, fully aware of Maino's absence, continued to assert his presence. Every word, every glance, every gesture was loaded with meaning. Insiders say there were moments when the crew members exchanged subtle signals, carefully gauging reactions and planning the next steps. For those watching from the outside, it might have seemed like typical drama. But anyone familiar with hip-hop dynamics knows that these moments carry weight far beyond what's seen on screen. What made this situation unique was the interaction between Jim Jones and Dame Dash. Normally, conversations might escalate in public forums or through social media, but this confrontation happened face-to-face in real time. According to multiple eyewitnesses, Jim moved with purpose, signaling that he wasn't just expressing an opinion, he was making a statement. Dame Dash, while shocked by the intensity, maintained composure, trying to navigate the moment without letting it spiral out of control. The presence of Jim's crew added another layer of complexity. Their silent support, readiness to intervene, and overall posture amplified the tension. It wasn't just about what was said, it was about the implied threat. Everyone in the room, from the producers to the security personnel, realized that this could easily escalate if any misstep occurred. That's when strategy and restraint became just as important as words. Meanwhile, Maino's withdrawal had ripple effects beyond the immediate episode. Producers and hosts had to adjust on the fly, reformatting parts of the conversation and reshaping the dynamic of the show. Audience expectations were high. People wanted drama, insight, and authentic reactions. Without Maino's participation, the spotlight intensified on Jim Jones and Dame Dash, magnifying every word and every gesture. Insiders later revealed that after the cameras stopped rolling, the tension didn't immediately dissipate. It's private conversations. Skunton. Behind the scenes, some of Jim Jones' crew discussed the confrontation, analyzing what went well and what could have triggered escalation. Dame Dash debriefed with his team, reflecting on how close the situation came to crossing a line. And Maino, observing from the sidelines, assessed how his decision to step back preserved his image while avoiding unnecessary heat. What the public didn't see, but insiders confirm, was that this episode left lasting impressions. Both Jim Jones and Dame Dash walked away with new understandings of each other's boundaries. Maino's absence, while subtle, was a reminder that choosing when to step in and when to step back is sometimes the smartest move in any high-stakes situation. From a broader perspective, this episode highlighted the fine line between entertainment and real-world tension. Hip-hop culture thrives on storytelling, conflict, and drama. But when influential figures collide in real-life scenarios, the consequences extend beyond views or social media clout. For every moment captured on camera, there are dozens of private decisions, calculations, and strategies at play. Fans immediately began speculating online. Social media lit up with debates. Was Maino right to step back? Was Jim Jones too aggressive? How did Dame Dash maintain composure? Comments and threads exploded, dissecting every moment frame by frame. Even weeks later, clips from the episode continued circulating, often with viewers analyzing the subtle interactions that most people might have missed. This episode also serves as a lesson in timing, perception, and influence. Maino's strategic withdrawal preserved his professional reputation. Jim Jones' assertiveness reinforced his persona as someone who doesn't back down. Dame Dash's measured responses reminded fans why he's considered a veteran and a tactician in the industry. Each individual's choices reflected not just their personalities, but their understanding of stakes and consequences. By the end of the day, one thing became clear. This wasn't just drama for the cameras. It was a real-life lesson in power, respect, and strategy. Maino's decision to step back, Jim Jones' intensity, and Dame Dash's composure all contributed to a narrative that fans would talk about for weeks. And even now, the ripple effects of this episode are still being felt. Not only in the hip-hop community, but also among viewers who witnessed firsthand how quickly things can escalate when powerful personalities collide. The tension, the strategy, the unsaid messages, they all created a moment that will be remembered as one of the most intense and insightful episodes in recent hip-hop show history. After Maino stepped back, the room didn't just go back to normal. The energy shifted quietly, but unmistakably. What viewers saw on camera was only a fraction of what happened behind the scenes. The dynamics between Jim Jones, Dame Dash, men, and their respective entourages were tense, calculated, and in many ways unpredictable. Even though Maino had removed himself from the immediate spotlight, his presence, or rather his absence, was felt throughout the filming. It changed the flow of conversation, the way people spoke, and the way cameras had to pivot. Without Maino to mediate or participate, every word Jim Jones spoke carried more weight. Every reaction, from Dame Dash, was amplified in the world of high-profile hip-hop confrontations. This is exactly the kind of shift that can turn a small tension into something much bigger. Much bigger. According to multiple insiders, after the cameras stopped rolling, private conversations escalated. Crew members from both sides huddled, exchanging opinions, assessing risks, and gauging reactions. Jim Jones, while outwardly calm, reportedly debriefed with his closest allies to understand exactly how the encounter had been perceived. Dame Dash, always strategic, reviewed the footage and dissected the confrontation, making mental notes of what could have gone wrong and how to avoid it and future appearances. Maino, observing from the sidelines, analyzed everything with precision, understanding that staying out of the spotlight was in itself a form of influence. The fallout wasn't immediate, but it was inevitable. Social media caught wind of Maino's withdrawal, and fans exploded in speculation. Was he intimidated? Was this a strategic retreat? Or was it simply a professional decision to avoid unnecessary conflict? Comments, posts, and forums lit up, dissecting every possible angle. Even the smallest gestures, a smile, a pause, a sidelong glance, were analyzed, reanalyzed, shared thousands of times. What became clear in these discussions was that the encounter wasn't just a boutigo or theatrics. It was a lesson in power dynamics, respect, and perception. Jim Jones' decision to bring his presence and his crew into space sent a subtle but undeniable message. He commands attention and he doesn't back down. Dame Dash's ability to maintain composure despite the intimidation factor reinforced why he is considered a veteran with street sense and industry acumen. Maino's choice to step back underscored that sometimes the strongest move is restraint. Interestingly, sources close to the production noted that this entire sequence of events affected the tone of future episodes. Producers had to adjust, not just for Maino's absence, but for the after effects of the tension that lingered. Crew members became hyper-aware of what was said and how it could be perceived. Even those who were not directly involved in the confrontation were now moving more cautiously. A single misstep could reignite speculation or spark a misunderstanding. And in hip-hop circles, misunderstandings can escalate fast. While the immediate aftermath was behind closed doors, whispers began circulating among industry insiders. Some suggested that Jim Jones' actions were a calculated test, a reminder of the weight he carries in the community. Others argued that Maino's withdrawal set a precedent, a public acknowledgement that some situations are too volatile to risk. Both interpretations have merit, but one thing is undeniable. This was more than just a show. It was a study in human behavior under pressure. Over the next few days, the intensity of conversations shifted online. Clips from the show were dissected, and debates about loyalty, courage, and decision-making dominated comment sections. Fans compared every move to previous incidents in hip-hop history, noting similarities with past confrontations and feuds. Analysts weighed in on strategy, debating whether Maino's retreat was wise or missed an opportunity to assert his position publicly. The discourse revealed something crucial in situations like this. Perception can sometimes be as important as reality. Sources say that the confrontation also sparked private discussions between the parties, involved about potential reconciliation or future collaborations. While Jim Jones and Dame Dash have a complicated history, the incident forced both to confront their current relationship and consider the implications of public conflict. Maino, meanwhile, maintained distance, not as a sign of weakness, but as a demonstration of awareness and tactical patience. By the end of the week, the story had grown beyond the show itself. Hip-hop fans, commentators, and bloggers began framing this incident as a defining moment in modern rap drama. It highlighted the delicate balance between public persona and private decisions, and it showed how quickly high-profile encounters can capture attention while remaining layered and complex beneath the surface. What makes this situation particularly interesting is how subtlety became the weapon. Jim Jones didn't have to escalate. Physically, presence, tone, and entourage communicated dominance. Dame Dash didn't have to react emotionally. His composed demeanor signaled confidence. Eno didn't have to confront anyone. Absence sent a strategic message about caution and influence. Every move, whether visible or invisible, contributed to a narrative that would continue long after cameras were off. Another aspect to consider is how the media played a role in shaping public perception. Social media snippets, leaks, and reactions amplified small details into viral discussions. Analysts dissected facial expressions, pauses, and body language, drawing conclusions about loyalty, strategy, and tension. Each post fueled curiosity, engagement, and debate, showing just how powerful a single confrontation can be when amplified online. Even weeks later, insiders report that the effects are still present. Relationships between crews, show affiliates, and networks were subtly reshaped. Some alliances strengthened, while others became more cautious. In high-stakes environments like this, small decisions ripple outward, creating long-term consequences that may not be immediately visible to casual observers. It becomes evident that this episode of Let's Rap About It was more than a simple show confrontation. It was a masterclass in navigating complex social dynamics, power, and influence. It demonstrates that sometimes the most powerful statements aren't shouted but conveyed through presence, restraint, and strategic choices. The question that lingers is this: with tensions managed but not resolved, what comes next? Will there be a public response? Will alliances shift? And how will the lessons learned from this encounter influence future decisions by Maino, Jim Jones, and Dame Dash? We'll explore the aftermath reactions and long-term implications of this confrontation. How the events shaped the hip-hop landscape, affected relationships, and left fans speculating about what's really going on behind the scenes. Stay locked in, because the story is far from over and the most revealing moments are yet to come. The tension from that night didn't simply disappear. The cameras were off, the lights were dim, but the energy remained heavy in the room long. After the recording stopped, everyone involved, Jim Jones, Dame Dash, Maino, and their crews, knew that the impact of that night would not just linger. It would ripple outward, affecting relationships, reputations, and the perception of the fans. Jim Jones, known for his assertive personality and unfiltered approach, understood immediately that this encounter was going to be dissected online. Every word he spoke, every movement he made would be analyzed frame by frame. He had intentionally brought his crew to assert presence. But what he perhaps hadn't anticipated was the magnitude of attention it would attract once clips surfaced on social media. Discussions ignited across forums, comment sections, and rap communities. People dissecting what went wrong, what could have escalated, and how Maino's decision to step back changed the dynamics entirely. Dame Dash, on the other hand, became a symbol of restraint. While Jim Jones' aggression was visible, Dash's measured response showcased his veteran savvy. He didn't lash out. He didn't react impulsively. Instead, he maintained composure, demonstrating that experience and strategy often outweigh brute force or aggression. Those who witnessed the interactions privately noted that Dash was quietly sending a message. Control the moment, control the narrative, and in high-profile feuds, the narrative is everything. Maino's withdrawal proved to be more impactful than anyone anticipated. At first, fans speculated whether it was fear or caution. However, insiders confirmed it was a calculated decision. Maino recognized that engaging could have drawn him into a conflict that had nothing to do with his personal brand or career trajectory. His absence was strategic, a demonstration of intelligence over impulse. In an environment where loyalty and reputation are currency, knowing when to step back can be as powerful as knowing when to confront. Social media immediately exploded. Clips of the confrontation circulated endlessly, dissected by fans and analysts alike. The key moments: Jones stepping forward, Dame Dash holding his ground. Maino's absence became the focus of heated debate. Why didn't Maino react? Some asked, was Jones too aggressive? Others wondered. The conversation wasn't just limited to casual fans. Industry insiders, commentators, and even other artists weighed in, turning the night into a case study on power dynamics in hip-hop. Meanwhile, the production team behind Let's Rap About It faced the challenge of managing the fallout. The episode had been planned around Maino's participation, and his absence shifted the balance, putting a spotlight squarely on the interaction between Jones and Dash behind the scenes. Crew members had to carefully navigate post-production edits, ensuring that the episode conveyed drama without fueling real-world conflict. It became evident that what happens behind the camera can be just as crucial as what's captured on it. Insiders also revealed that private conversations continued long after the show. Jim Jones' crew discussed strategy, analyzing every subtle gesture and reaction. Dame Dash reflected on how close things had come to escalation, thinking through future precautions. Maino stayed observant, learning from the confrontation without directly engaging. Each participant recognized the stakes. Reputations, alliances, and the eyes of the public were all factors that could not be ignored. By the end of the week, it was clear this wasn't just another viral clip. It was a lesson in restraint, strategy, and power. The night's events illustrated a deeper truth in hip-hop culture: that strength isn't always loud, and influence isn't always visible. Sometimes the loudest statements are made in silence through calculated decisions and careful observation. The public reaction further reinforced this lesson. Comment threads debated loyalty, courage, and the right approach to conflict. Analysts weighed the consequences of Maino's decision, while fans speculated on whether Jim Jones' actions were a calculated show of power or a genuine confrontation. Every post, clip, and discussion became a piece of a larger puzzle, revealing the complexity of human behavior under pressure. This episode also affected relationships behind the scenes. Some alliances strengthened as respect grew for those who maintained composure. Others became more cautious, wary of missteps in future interactions. In hip-hop, where perception and reputation are everything, the subtle consequences of this night will continue to shape decisions, collaborations, and conflicts for months, if not years. In retrospect, the events of that night highlighted three critical takeaways. Presence matters, but restraint defines power. Jim Jones' presence was commanding, but it was Dash's calm and strategic absence that showcased real control. Action has consequences. Whether on camera or off, decisions ripple outward, affecting alliances, opportunities, and public perception. The unseen moments often matter most. Fans see what's on camera, but private interactions, whispered conversations, and subtle gestures shape the real story. As of now, the story isn't fully closed. Both Jim Jones and Dame Dash have moved on publicly, while Maino continues his career quietly, allowing his actions or inactions to speak louder than words. Yet insiders hint that the undercurrents from this episode are still present, waiting for the right moment to resurface. In hip-hop, silence rarely means peace. It means preparation. The night of the confrontation will be remembered not just for the drama, but for the lessons it taught about strategy, power, and restraint. Maino's decision to step back, Jones' aggression and Dash's composure created a moment that will be studied and talked about for years. It's a reminder that in the world of high-stakes entertainment, every choice carries weight, and sometimes the smartest move is not the loudest one. For the fans, the commentators, and the industry, this episode will remain a benchmark. It wasn't just about who said what or who reacted first. It was about understanding the dynamics of influence, loyalty, and consequence. And while the cameras no longer roll, the lessons continue. The ripple effects of that night remain, shaping interactions, guiding decisions, and reminding everyone that in hip-hop, the quiet moves are often the most powerful. The question now is simple but haunting. What happens if the silence ever breaks? And when it does, the world will be watching,